What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Devin, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about how to create time lapses with your drone. A lot of drones today have a built-in time-lapse mode or hyperlapse mode, but with those, most of the time they will just create a video out of the stills that it takes, which yes, technically is a hyperlapse or a time lapse. But you can have way more control and get tons of quality out of it when you shoot high resolution JPEG or RAW images. That's what I wanted to go over with you guys today, is how to get a professional looking time lapse with basically any drone. So all the time lapses in this video are actually captured on the DJI Mini SE, which is their entry-level beginner-based drone. And that's why I wanted to share this video with you guys, is that you can create a time lapse on your drone even if there's not a time-lapse mode. As long as there's a timed photo mode, you're good to go. So I'm gonna break this video down into 3 sections: the shooting portion, the editing or sifting through your photos section, and then importing that into whatever editor that you wanna use. Today I'm gonna be going over Premiere Pro, but whether you work in Final Cut or DaVinci or even iMovie, a lot of these steps should carry over to whatever editor that you're using. So with that said, let's jump into it. All right, so the first thing that I like to talk about when shooting time lapses or hyperlapses, especially from a drone, is make sure that the scene is interesting. You want some clouds in the sky to show movement, or else it's just gonna look like a sped up video. And then from there, set up a composition that looks interesting and appealing. So once you have your composition and everything all set up, decide whether you're gonna shoot in manual or automatic mode as far as your camera settings go. I recommend shooting in manual, that way your settings don't change from photo to photo and could cause some weird things in your time lapse. I would recommend shooting manual or locking your exposure using the auto exposure lock within the drone settings if you don't want to shoot manually. From there, make sure to select the timed photo mode. And what this is gonna do is you can set it to take a photo at whatever interval that you want it to, whether it's 2 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever you want it to be, you can choose. But you have to remember that how many still frames you take directly corresponds to the end result of your time lapse. So if you want a 10-second time lapse and you're editing to a 24 frame per second timeline, then you're gonna need 240 frames to fill up that 10 seconds. So just keep that in mind. So whatever interval you choose, make sure that you shoot however many photos you want for your end result being your time lapse. So get as many photos as you feel like you need for the time lapse that you want to create. And then let's move on to step number 2. So once you get back to the computer and you download all your clips and you're looking at them, and whether you shoot in JPEG or RAW, I like to edit my photos just to give them a little bit of unique look and hopefully pull out some colors and range that you may not have got straight out of camera. So with RAW, you're gonna get way more range and editing capabilities, but on this drone, it is limited to JPEGs, which I was actually really surprised at how well it's still edited pretty good. I didn't go crazy, but I was able to pull out some colors. So go ahead and import all these photos into your photo editor of choice. For today's example, I am using Lightroom. So I import all my photos into Lightroom, and then all I have to do is edit the first photo to get it however I want it to look. As long as your exposure didn't change drastically throughout your scene, once you land on an edit that you like, you can actually sync all of those photos to have the same exact edit across the board so they all look the same. And that's really easy. All you have to do is highlight them all and then go find the sync button, and it's gonna copy that one edit across the board to all the rest of the images. Now once you do that, we're gonna export it, and this is where it gets pretty important, because out of the drone it should have had a file and a sequence of those images that came out of the drone. You still want there to be a sequence now that you export it. Don't just label it time lapse. So I label mine time lapse, and then I sequence them 1, 2, 3 all the way after, because that's going to be an important step for the next step. But once you export them, put them in a folder that you know where they are, and then let's move on to step number 3. Alright, so in step number 3 is where we import them into Premiere Pro. And Premiere is pretty smart when it comes to this. I'm gonna go import, and then I'm gonna go find that folder and find the first image in that sequence that we just exported. And from there, you make sure that this little button is clicked to make sure that it takes the whole sequence of photos, and then you just press import, and it's gonna compile all that into a video file. And from there, you can pick out the section that you wanna use and drag it right into your timeline, and then from there, you can edit it just like you would a video clip. You can put a little bit more color grade on if you want, or you can speed ramp it, you can chop it up, you can make it faster, slower, whatever it is. But there's your time lapse, and that is how the pros do it. That's a much more basic stripped down version. Maybe in future videos we can go into camera settings and more editing techniques. But if you're just looking and you want to step up your drone game and you want to start doing time lapses on your drone, no matter what the drone, and not use the built-in time-lapse mode, and you want to have more capability, more editing power, more quality, because by the way, I meant to mention this at the beginning of the video. This is creating a 4K time-lapse, and this drone technically doesn't even shoot 4K. It only goes up to 2.7K, but we are creating a 4K time-lapse due to the resolution of the photos, and then once you edit it, boom, 4K time-lapse. So if you're looking to step up and start doing better hyperlapses and time lapses with your drone, hopefully this helps you. Hopefully this gets you well on your way, and hopefully you learned something. But if you did enjoy this video, please leave it a thumbs up. It really helps out my channel, helps my videos grow and reach more people. Comment down below. Let me know if you found this helpful at all. I'll be sharing more stuff like this on my channel, so make sure to subscribe if you like this video, and I'll see you guys in another video.